What's up everyone, welcome back to Lace Up channel. My name is Mickey. In this video, we're going to talk about what you need to do about your lazy business partners. So a couple weeks ago, I went to visit a behemoth customer of mine, a customer distributes to just about every single store in South Florida. I'm talking about they've got so many trucks, such a big warehouse, such a monster of a business that they're cash flowing millions and millions and millions of dollars. But I had a conversation with the owner, we went out to lunch, and he was like, you know, Mickey, I'm not the 100% owner of this business. I've got two partners and they don't pull their own weight. Anyways, in this video, we're going to talk about what you can do if you're in a similar situation. More importantly, if you're about to get into a partnership or a relationship with someone else to run your business, what you need to put into contract before getting into that relationship. Anyways, let's get right into it. So I'm sitting there having an amazing roast beef sandwich and we're having this conversation. The conversation's flowing so smoothly, you know, kind of when you go out on a date and the conversation just flows back and forth. Anyways, we get to the topic of partners. And this individual tells me, Mickey, I've got two partners. They own 40% of my business. My mind was absolutely blown because this person, he's the figurehead of the business. He makes all the decisions. He does all the work. He takes on all the stress. And what do his two business partners do? According to him, they don't even pull the equivalent of $70,000 of value apiece. They've both let themselves go from a health perspective. And now this individual has left managing and running and operating this business all on top of his shoulders while his nice little partners are collecting 40% of the profit. 40% of the profit. So really, we're sitting there brainstorming what this person can do to get out of this relationship. Really, there's two options, okay? And they're probably the same two options that you thought of, but I'm going to give you some creative ways to structure the deals to get these people out. So option number one, you outright buy them out. So outright buying out a partner means you pay them some money, okay, and they leave. They sell you their shares of the business and you take control and ownership of those shares. Now there's a couple of ways that you can buy someone out. The first one is you value your business, you multiply that value times their percentage. So for instance, if your business is worth $5 million and they own 20%, well now they get $1 million. You're gonna have to go to a bank, take out a loan for that million, and then give them that million in exchange for those shares. Essentially, you're buying back those shares and putting them on your balance sheet, putting the debt of those shares on your balance sheet. And then over time, because your business hopefully is a cash flow cow, you're going to be able to pay down that debt until you no longer own or owe on those shares. That's your first option. Now, most small businesses, including mine, we don't have the level of funds nor the level of cash flow to give out these huge payments to partners. So what you can do is get extremely creative with the way you finance these deals. For instance, I've got a friend in Las Vegas that owned a powder coating wheel and paint business, and they were doing great, doing a couple million a year in revenue. And he reached a point in his life where he was like, you know what? I'm done with this thing. I want out. Okay, you know what he did? He found an individual that was a smart individual that had some experience, and what he did was he gave him, okay, some equity. Actually most of the equity in the business, and then he guaranteed himself X monthly payment every single month forever in perpetuity, right? So this means that on the profit and loss statement of that business, they would have to pay him first, right? That would be their top expense, and then pay all their employees and pay all the expenses for all the materials. So you could do something like this with your partners. You could say, look, Johnny, right now you make $10,000 a month. Let's do this. I'll pay you $10,000 a month for the next 20 years. Okay, that comes out to X dollars. And then if we sell the business before that, I'll cash out your balance. Now, most people, they're thinking to themselves, shoot, I'm going to be able to liberate my time, go home, hang out with my family, and make my same income. For a lot of people, that's like super exciting, especially people that don't care about growth, those that are stagnant in a $70,000 a year position, right, that aren't worried about getting bigger, getting better, getting faster, getting stronger. They're just complacent. Give them a deal where you pay them their monthly salary. They're going to be happy. Anyways, those are the only two ways out, right? You either outright buy them out or you give them a monthly deal, and more than likely they're going to love that idea. Now, there is a third option, which I want to touch upon quickly, is I always like making relationships with people that could buy my business. What do I mean by making relationships? Having honest, frank conversations with people, keeping in touch with people, and having a little network of people that at any point in time, especially private equity firms, could turn around and give you a nice chunk of change for the business. You build this network. Okay, you pitch all these people, you tell them what you want for the business, and then when they're in a position to actually buy a business like yours, you're going to be the first person they call. That's the awesome thing about building relationships. And then guess what? You get out and your lazy partners get out. But that's probably the most long-term vision of them all, and something that you need to work on little by little. Anyways, those are the 3 ways that you can get your partner out right now. Now let's talk about how you can structure a deal before getting into a partnership to avoid this scenario in the first place. Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt your video. Look, do me a favor, give me a big like on this video, give me a subscribe. I'm trying to pop out content to help business owners like you every single week. Anyways, back to the video. So you and your best friend, you've been sitting together coming up with ideas, you've struck gold, you think you have an idea where you're going to become billionaires. Before getting into business, I want you guys to do the following, because I don't want you 5 or 10 years from now when you're making all this money to have one business partner way outperform and outwork the other business partner. What you want to do, sit down and on a piece of paper, write down what you both expect from one another. What do we mean? We want to talk about hourly work commitment. We want to talk about what you're going to do, what your role is going to be, how you're going to control the company moving forward. And then you want to tie that to the equity that you'll both receive. Kind of like how when a developer or a person with a lot of talent joins a startup, they give them equity that vests. Well, why don't you make a structure or a contract where you give each other equity that vests? What does that mean? You get a lawyer involved and you make the lawyer sign a contract that says you both must meet certain conditions, certain criteria to keep your equity. And if you don't, you forfeit the equity to the other person. You see, that puts the onus on both of you to put in the equal amount of work. That way you guys always show up to work on the same days, always work the same amount of hours, always take care of your roles, and none of you neglect even when you start making a bunch of money. Because guess what? Once you get that money, once you get that cash flow, you don't want to give it up. And because you don't want to give it up, you'll keep working. Right? And the specter of you losing that equity, the thing hovering over your head, that grim reaper that keeps you awake at night. Because if you don't put in the work, guess what? That cash flow, that's buying that fancy car and that beautiful mansion in South Beach, those 2 things disappear. So guys, structure a deal where you put the onus on one another to put in the work. If you don't do this, people get complacent and you'll end up like the guy at the beginning of this story whose business partners do nothing and whose business partners don't provide the sufficient value to the business to push it to the next level. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed that video. Give me a big thumbs up, a subscribe down below. I'm going to try to pop out content every single week, multiple times a week. Anyways, have a great day.